Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to another video. This is going to be a little bit different than the typical video. This is going to be my thoughts on the 2016 Star Wars Celebration. I've thought about doing videos like this before, discussing Star Wars or just movies in general. I even thought about making my own channel where I would only do TV and movie stuff. But I just decided I'm going to do it occasionally on here. It's only going to be Star Wars. There's a big fan base for Star Wars on this channel. So I figured there's enough of a fan base where I can make one of these videos every once in a while. I'm making one now, which is after Celebration. I'll make one after probably Star Wars Rebels Season 3. And I'll probably make one when Rogue One comes out, and then obviously Episode 8, and so on and so forth. So basically, whenever a big Star Wars thing happens, I'm probably going to release a video with just my thoughts on what happened, or what I thought about, whether it was a movie, whether it was an event, whatever it may be. It'll just be my thoughts on that specific thing. So anyway, we're going to hop right into it. Now, a little bit of disclaimer. Obviously, I didn't go there. I was not in London for Star Wars Celebration. I was at home. I was watching the live streams. So no, I was not there. And my opinion would probably be pretty different if I was there. There's a completely different, I guess, feel to it, environment, all that kind of stuff, atmosphere to it when you're there rather than if you're at home watching the live stream. So just to put that out there, I was just watching the live streams. So this is my perspective from just only watching everything online on my computer at home. So we're going to start off with the Marvel panel. They live streamed most of the panels, but we'll get into a couple of the panels that they did not live stream and why I think it's kind of ridiculous why they didn't live stream. But I'll get into that in a minute. But first, we're going to start off with the Marvel panel. I was told, or at least I wasn't told, but I read that basically Marvel was only there as an obligation. Because they are now producing the Star Wars comics, they had to be at the Star Wars Celebration, but they had no intentions of revealing anything new. No new series, no new previews, no new big announcements, nothing like that. And that's what happened. I mean, I didn't read that until afterwards, so I was very disappointed when they didn't live stream the Marvel event, which was kind of weird to begin with. But after the Marvel event live streamed, I was looking for news on it. I found a news blog, and basically all they stated was, or all they released was a couple previews for the upcoming Darth Vader comic and the upcoming Star Wars comic, just the new issues for those. I think it's issue 25 for Darth Vader, which I believe is the last issue of Darth Vader. I think it was 20 something for Star Wars. I don't remember the exact issue number, but that's all they released the entire time. The rest of the time, I guess they just talked about production, and they talked, I believe, to a couple of the writers, and so it was more of just an interview thing. But nonetheless, I was expecting at least one or two new series announcements. We didn't get anything. So that was kind of disappointing. Celebration as a whole was just, from the perspective of just watching the live streams, it was quite a disappointment, I gotta say. Starting off, obviously, like I said, Marvel was quite the disappointment. I was hoping for at least one or two comics being announced. It did not happen. Now, fortunately, it looks like that they may be announcing a couple things at Comic-Con, so that may be where we get our new series announcements. But still, the fact that they had a Marvel panel, it kind of led me to believe, and I'm sure it led some other people to believe, that there would be a couple of series announced. I mean, it is the Star Wars Celebration. It is the Star Wars convention put on by Disney. So you would think that they would release or announce that there would be some new comic series going down, but they didn't. Like I said, I guess they're just saving that for Comic-Con. But it's just, I understand it, but still at the same time, it's a little bit weird. Moving on to the EA panel. This was the video game panel. As many of you probably know, EA is handling all the video games for, I can't remember the exact contract length. I think it's 5 years. It may be even longer than 5 years, but they have an exclusive contract. So EA is going to be making all of our Star Wars games for a very long time. But EA was also a pretty disappointing time. Yes, they announced some Battlefront DLCs. They announced, or the Death Star DLC was already announced, so that's not really an announcement. But they showed off a trailer for it that pretty much showed you what it's going to be like. We hadn't seen up to this point what it was going to be like. They showed the space version of it. I don't think they showed any like inside the Death Star stuff like we had in Battlefront 2. We'll just have to see. I assume that there's going to be an indoor part of the DLC where you're fighting inside the Death Star. But yeah, they just showed off a trailer for that. And then they showed 3 screenshots. It may have been 4 screenshots, but 3 or 4 screenshots of the new Visceral game. And that's it. That was the entire EA conference. They talked a little bit about mobile games, but no one really cares about that. So the entire EA conference panel was just releasing 3 screenshots of the Visceral game, and showing off a trailer for a DLC we already knew was coming. And they also dropped that there will be a Rogue One DLC for Battlefront. My problem with the Battlefront DLC, yes, it's cool. It's the Death Star. That's great. Rogue One DLC, fantastic. I'm still not going to buy a $60 season pass. It's just not going to happen. There's no way in the world they can justify to me that I should buy a $60 season pass that provides me with a couple of extra maps, a couple extra game modes. I can't justify it. I really can't, and I will never buy it unless they release like an Ultimate Edition that includes everything, all the DLCs, or unless they put the season pass on sale for like $20. I'm just not going to buy it, because $60 or $50, whatever the season pass cost is, it's just, I'm not going to do it. I am sure a lot of you agree with that. I'm sure a lot of you did not buy the season pass, because I just find it ridiculous. It should be in the original $60 game. The $60 that we paid for the Battlefront game that we got last year it didn't provide us with $60 worth of stuff. It was a very bland game. It wasn't terrible. It didn't feel like Battlefront to me personally. The gameplay wasn't terrible, but the amount of content that we got for $60 did not meet what I expected. So I'm not going to go out and give you another $60 for a couple of DLC packs. I'm just not going to do it. I never have. I never buy any Call of Duty season passes or anything like that. So, yep, that should be a clear indicator, by the way, that you will not see any gameplay on this channel of the Death Star DLC or the Rogue One DLC unless I get the season pass for cheap. If I find a sale where the season pass is $20, I might get it. But unless that happens, you'll most likely never see any more of the new Battlefront gameplay on here. I'm going to stick with Battlefront 1, Battlefront 2, and then the older Star Wars games, because that's what's good and that's what I like to play right now. As far as Visceral, the screenshots that they showed look good. One screenshot in particular that stuck out to me, sorry for clearing my throat there, but the one screenshot that stuck out to me was one where some characters looked like that they were jumping across a gap, kind of like from rock to rock or building to building. I can't remember exactly what they were jumping, but it was a gap. They were jumping a gap, and it looked really similar to Uncharted. And then someone stated after the event, it looks like Uncharted. It looks like a Star Wars Uncharted. Now, I know the main lady working on it, her name slips my mind at the moment, but I know she comes over from Naughty Dog. I believe she was the head person on the Uncharted series, so it makes sense that it would look like Uncharted, I guess. That's not really what I was hoping for, though. I was hoping for an open world or even open galaxy game, just an action game, whether you're a bounty hunter, smuggler, soldier for Rebel Alliance, whatever you may be. I was hoping for something like that, like an open world, open galaxy. It still could be, but it does look like Uncharted, and I hope it's not like that. I hope it's not just an Uncharted narrative game for Star Wars, because that would be kind of disappointing to me. I would still play it. I'm sure I would still like it, but it's not what I would expect, what I really, really want. So I'm hoping that they're wrong on that. I'm hoping it's not just Star Wars Uncharted, because that's not really what I was hoping for. I'm sure that's not what most people were hoping for either. So, yeah, EA conference, or EA panel, not the best, I gotta say. And then we move on to the Rogue One panel. The most hyped panel going in was by far the Rogue One panel. We're getting a trailer. That's what everyone thought going in. Everyone thought we were getting a Rogue One trailer. There was the ABC special description that was posted that had a little deal at the end saying a 3-minute Rogue One trailer. And that's what really started it all. That's what made everyone think we were getting a 3-minute extended Rogue One trailer. That's what everyone thought. The media was saying we were going to get it. The fans were hoping we were going to get it. And then we didn't get it. We didn't get really anything out of the Rogue One panel. One of the actors dropped a spoiler. It wasn't a huge spoiler in my opinion. We kind of figured what he said, we figured would happen anyway, really. When you know everything about the story that we do know, you could kind of figure that what he said is going to happen. I'm not going to I'm not gonna say a spoiler on this video. But apart from that, I mean, Gwendolyn Christie was a great moderator, and interviewing the actors was great. But that's not really what we were all there for. We were there because we thought that we were going to get a trailer or another teaser or something. We didn't get that. What we got was a sizzle roll, I believe is what they were calling it. A sizzle reel or roll, something like that. Anyway, we basically got a behind the scenes little video, a little featurette, and it was awesome. It was very cool. It was very reminiscent of the Star Wars The Force Awakens behind the scenes featurette that we got, I believe, last year at Star Wars Celebration. But it's not what we expected. It did provide us with a little bit of insight on the story. It provided us with some new shots. But like I said, not what we were expecting. It's not what we were hoping for. So I was disappointed with it. I don't believe that most of the people that went to the actual celebration were disappointed with that panel. But everyone that was watching the live stream was pretty disappointed, because then at the end, they showed everyone that was in attendance a little 60-second teaser. Now, from what I've heard, it sounds like that about 99% of that teaser was just recut footage from the original teaser that we saw a couple months back. But the one thing that was added in was a little bit of Vader at the end. At the very, very end, you saw Vader in the reflection of the floor or a window or something to that effect, and you heard his breathing. We'll never see that clip, but the people at Star Wars Celebration got to see it, which I understand. They paid all the money to get there. They should get a little bit extra, but still, us at home, we got nothing. We didn't get a teaser. We didn't get really anything except for that sizzle reel, whatever you want to call it. We got that, which it's something, but it's not what we were wanting. It's not really what we were hoping for. So basically that leads us into, when will the trailer for Rogue One actually come out? My guess would be late August at this point. That's what I'm kind of thinking. It's what I'm kind of expecting. Either late August or early September is what I would think at this point, because I don't really see a reason why they wait until October to release it. They're definitely not going to wait until November, because the movie comes out in December. So I think that at this point, they can't release it too soon after Celebration, because then everyone will be pissed. So I'm thinking late August is the earliest that they will show it, and then maybe early September. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that we get to see it soon, because I am very hyped for Rogue One. I was hoping that I'd be even more hyped coming out of Star Wars Celebration, but really I wasn't. I was about the same as I was going in. Because all we got was that little featurette, that little behind-the-scenes featurette, and a little bit of an interview with each of the cast members, which was cool, but it didn't really satisfy us as fans. So yeah, Rogue One panel, by far one of the more disappointing panels of the weekend. And then we move into the Future Filmmakers panel, I believe it was called, which is basically the panel where they were covering Han Solo and Episode 8. Nothing really came out of that panel. Nothing at all. All that really got confirmed out of that panel was that Episode 8 will pick up right where Episode 7 left off. So it'll pick up with Rey and Luke. That's all we found out. We were hoping that maybe we would get some casting for Episode 8, maybe some casting for Han Solo, maybe a title for Episode 8. None of that. All we got out of that panel was that Episode 8 will pick up right after Episode 7. And they made a huge deal out of who's playing Han Solo and the fact that there's a Han Solo film. They made a huge deal of that. We've already known that for months now. We knew the short list for the actors, and eventually we knew the actor. And we knew that there was going to be a Han Solo film for a long time now. So the fact that they made that seem like it was such a huge deal was just very weird to me. Because they had to have known that everyone has known who the actor was and the fact that there was a Han Solo movie. So I don't know. It was very weird to me. And like I said earlier, this panel wasn't streamed. And that was the thing. Like, everyone's thinking it's not being streamed. They're going to drop some big news. They're going to drop something big in this panel because it's not being streamed. Nothing big was revealed in this panel at all that warranted it not being streamed. So I don't know. Those are all the negatives about the weekend. That's pretty much every single panel except for one. There was one great panel the entire weekend, and that was Star Wars Rebels. Rebels delivered on everything we hoped it would. Filoni does not disappoint. Everyone was expecting a trailer. He gave us a trailer. Everyone was expecting a little teaser clip. He gave us a teaser clip. Everyone was expecting some information on the new characters and where everyone is coming into the season. We got some information. Filoni delivered on everything we could have hoped that he would deliver on, and it was a great panel. The interactions between him and the moderator, and his one guest, I believe he had one other guy that was on the panel with him, if I'm remembering correctly, and I believe it was the voice actor for Darth Maul and Darth Sidious. But all three of those guys were great together, and it was a great panel to watch just without the information that got dropped. But the biggest stuff that got pulled out or got dropped during that panel, obviously, was that Thrawn is back and Thrawn is canon. That is something that a lot of diehard fans have been hoping for a long time now, especially after the new canon stuff came out and how they basically redid canon. Everything got shifted around. Some stuff Legends, some stuff canon. Unfortunately, Thrawn was Legends until now, until Filoni has brought him back into the canon. He's not in the same context as he was in the Timothy Zahn, I believe that's his name, book trilogy. I believe the first book to that was Heir to the Empire, something along those lines. I read the first one a long time ago. I never got through the rest of the trilogy. I really need to go back and read through it because so many people have talked about how great Thrawn is as a character, and in the first book he is great. So it's just everyone's hyped about it, even if you don't know a lot about Thrawn. Most people are hyped. It's great to see such a character who looks like he's gonna be such a badass coming into the fold for Star Wars Rebels. It looks like, at least from what we picked up in the trailer, what we know about him, it seems like he's going to be a character that the Rebels can't just straight up defeat. He's not going to be a character that the Rebels defeat in 2 episodes or anything like that. I have a feeling that he's going to be beating ass for a while before they eventually either defeat him or maybe someone else defeats him. If you haven't read the books, I'm not going to spoil how he dies. I know how he dies, even though I didn't read the books because I got the ending spoiled, unfortunately. But he does die in the books, so I guess that is kind of a spoiler. Anyway, so we got the trailer, we got Thrawn, which is great to see. Ezra seems to be a little bit more dark in tone, which is what we were all hoping for. He's more grown up. He's actually killing stormtroopers. So basically, everything we were hoping for with Rebels is happening. It's looking like it's going to be a great season 3. Really looking forward to see what they do with Thrawn. And then another big thing that they announced was that there's a new Thrawn book coming out. It's going to be, it's probably going to be a really good book. I'm definitely going to read it. I'm going to make sure I read all the Thrawn books, the entire trilogy of Thrawn books that's out right now. I'm going to read it before I actually read the new Thrawn book, but still, I'm very excited about it. I believe it's coming out in 2017. But that's a big deal that they have a new Thrawn book coming out by the same author that wrote the original trilogy. So that's very big news as well. And all of that came out of the Rebels panel. So Rebels panel, by far the biggest of the weekend, by far the best panel of the weekend. And really, it was the only good panel of the weekend. None of the other panels really lived up to it. There were the one-man show panels with Mark Hamill, and I believe there were a couple other actors that had one-man show panels, but I can't remember off the top of my head who all had one. But anyway, all those were good, but those aren't really panels where anything's going to be revealed, so that doesn't really fit into what I was talking about. So anyway, as a whole, Celebration was kind of disappointing, at least from my perspective. I'm sure if I was on the ground, walking through all the booths, looking at all the Star Wars stuff, looking at the costumes that they have on display, I'm sure I would have had a great time. The problem with that is I wasn't there. I wasn't walking the floor, so I was just watching the live streams and forming an opinion based off of the live streams, which is all I saw. And my opinion was it was disappointing. I would have to give Star Wars Celebration 2016 probably in the realm of a 6.5, I would think. And without the Rebels panel, I mean, it's like a 3. Without Rebels, without them revealing Thrawn and the new Thrawn book, and just Rebels being impressive overall with the trailer and everything like that, It would be disappointing. It would be even more disappointing. It would be a terrible performance for Star Wars Celebration, especially compared to last year. So it's just it was disappointing. Like I said, I don't know how many times I can say disappointing in this video, but yeah. So about a 6.5 out of 10. But yeah, guys, that's about all my thoughts, I believe. I don't think I missed anything in this video. So if you want to, you can let me know what you thought about Star Wars Celebration. Like I said, I'm going to be making these kind of videos every once in a while. I don't want to spam your inbox with it. I know it's a little bit different than my normal content. And yes, I don't typically make commentaries, so my commentary style is a little bit raw. The last time I did commentaries full time and made commentaries all the time was, I believe, 2013, maybe even 2012. Either way, it's been a long time since I've done long commentary videos like this. So yes, it's going to take me a while to get back into the swing of things, but hopefully, eventually, I'm much better doing the long commentary videos. But the next one of these that I'll release will probably be when Rogue One comes out, so that's a long ways. I mean, this is the only one you're going to deal with for the next 5 months. Pretty much 5 months from today is when the next one of these kind of videos is going to be out. And then I'll release another one after Rebels Season 3, and then if there's a huge Star Wars conference at any other point, either this year or next year, then I'll probably do a video. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you weren't too bored with this video, and I will see you next time.